Thanks to the power of my friends, I know what I'm fighting for. I can endure any kind of pain for them. Yeah, that.
One thing I often see people confused on is what exactly is shonen. The term is mostly known in the West with the magazine Shonen Jump. Because of that, people have a bad habit of thinking that this is a brand and not the jump part. In all reality, shonen is a demographic category and not a brand or company. It's like seeing a game's age rating and thinking, wow, when's Persona 3 and The Last of Us going to have a crossover since they're both rated M? Shonen is a part of a few categories including shonen, save your gasps, seinen, shoujo, and josei. All of these have their own unique tropes, most famous shows, associations, all that good stuff. And I'll start with the most commonly known one, shonen. Shonen fits the demographic 15 and younger. Yeah, JoJo's for kids, I guess, at least parts 1 through 7. This includes, but isn't limited to, Fairy Tail, Naruto, Black Clover, My Hero Academia. You know, I'm starting to notice the theme of people yelling while punching. Of course, since it's a demographic and not a genre or a brand, it does end up fitting a lot more kinds of different stories, like Promised Neverland, Assassination Classroom, and Death Note. It is important to note that not every shonen story originates from Shonen Jump. There are actually quite a lot of magazines specifically dedicated to shonen, or at least they're mostly for it. There is the Shonen Jump set, of course, which is Weekly Shonen Jump, Monthly Shonen Jump, basically the whole Jump suite. But there's also Weekly Shonen Magazine, Weekly Shonen Sunday, which releases on a Wednesday because honesty, I guess, and so much more.
Now, seinen is a lot like shonen, except instead of traveling with friends, they travel with childhood trauma.
Seinen is probably the second most known demographic, which is 15 to 24-year-old men, so if you're 25, congratulations, you're hereby banned from anime. These are mostly your shows that have characters that cuss a lot, have a lot of blood, and in general just hold no bar. These range from your edge fests like Tokyo Ghoul to your tear fests like Elfenlied. I think it's one of the most varying demographics because it can be as ridiculous as One Punch Man that's only signing for what's shown when people get smacked into a wall, but there's also calmer, more mental shows like Erased. That's about child murder. This leads into one of the more eye-rolling things about people thinking shonen is a genre, because if shonen is, so is seinen. And I highly doubt Prison School and Hellsing have anything in common other than the naughty words they use. There is a lot of confusion between shonen and seinen if they don't go far enough though. Personally, I thought Bungo Stray Dogs was a shonen because of the nature of the whole thing. I mean, hey, people get killed or horribly injured, but I mean, the Promised Neverland is right there doing stuff I can't say in fear of this video getting age restricted. And it's still shonen. But yeah, like I said, seinen is basically the most varying thanks to shows like This Abomination and Berserk, both sharing the same classification. These manga are published in a wide variety of magazines as well, like Super Jump, Ultra Jump, Monthly Sunday GX, Monthly Afternoon, and the likes. There does seem to be some crossover though, where seinen stories get published within shonen magazines, but that's probably because of how close the demographics are. Now to go as far as we can from seinen, we get shoujo, which I swear I only know all of this because of the research I've done.
The camera's rolling.
Shoujo is pretty much the opposite of shonen, and obviously so because of the demographic. Shoujo anime is mainly for teen girls, and they're typically romance shows or magical girl shows. You know, before magical girl shows suddenly shifted to stories that make you go. Not to say this demographic is only for romance, magical girl stuff, or random comedy like that, but that's mostly what it is, at least in terms of what the most known properties are. Examples being Ouran High School Host Club or Ori Monogatari. I'll be honest, I don't know too much about this genre other than Orange or like Sailor Moon because I'm a manly man who uses a really big knife to cut the crust off my sandwich. It seems like a lot of these shows are genuinely interesting and wholesome, and there's Vampire Night. But hey, some actual different magazines. Shoujo is or was released in magazines like Hana to Yume, Lava, which is a fantastic name, and Choo Choo. Of course, these aren't the only magazines, and I can't even wholeheartedly confirm if any of these are still up and going, but these are where they were released. When researching this next one, I always had to have Gurren Lagann playing in at least half the screen to make sure I didn't lose myself to the darkness. The next category is josei, which basically just translates to female or womanhood and is the shoujo equivalent to seinen. But instead of dark subject matter or inappropriate humor, it's mostly just... In all honesty, there isn't much to say about josei because I have literally no experience with it. I've only heard of a few josei shows like Surfamp, but from what I can tell, it's all romance or...
Okay, since shonen tropes won't help me get through this trial, I'm gonna use other demographics. I don't need friends to do this. I'll give it my best shot. Oh my what am I doing?
Well, looks like I only have one option left. Dude, come on, I gotta watch the show. It's not that weird. You're over-exaggerating.